Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. It's so gross.
It's so good. Welcome to UX5. That gives me a great idea for the intro music, to put something creepy like that in the background to add to the
I like that.
a little bit creepy vibe.
It's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have we started this yet? Have you?
I'm
Sorry.
Yeah.
Are we going? Is this a thing?
Well, this is my this is what I'm gonna have up when we're loading.
That's my favorite thing ever.
That is awesome. I love
Now
that.
you just
Well,
wait.
while we're talking
You
about
just wait
DVDs,
for it to hit the corner.
yeah, right. That's one of my favorite scenes in The Office. They're
I love that cold open. It's so good.
speaking of DVDs, have we started the show?
Yeah.
I want to ask you about. Oh, we have. I wanted to ask you if you had seen WandaVision yet.
Mm-mm. It's
Oh.
on my list.
I have.
What do you think about it, John? Maybe we shouldn't talk about it if Tori hasn't seen it.
Nah, we can.
That's okay.
He's not gonna like it anyways.
I may get around to it.
I like it. It's different.
It's really different.
I don't love it, but I like it as far as that is something different. I have my theories about what's going on, but
Yeah, I think it's what I like about it. Other than I think it's cool that it's just like they're diving deep in all of these like old school TV styles, which is really fun. But what really is interesting are all of the little like quick nods to reality or to the present or whatever it is. I'm trying not to give too much away. That come at the end of every episode, and that like,
yeah,
and there are little things in like throughout the episode that sort of breaks that the illusion of whatever's happening, but it's enough to intrigue me and keep me really interested. And I think I also like that it's very unique. Like I've seen nothing really quite like it, especially in this like universe and in this style of movie. Like I sort of just, they could have just done a standard action show, right?
Yeah.
With these characters, but this is very much not that, and it's cool. I like that. So
I like the nods to like the Brady Bunch, because that was the Brady Bunch house, if I'm not mistaken, in the most recent
like the
episode.
actual house, really?
It,
I mean,
it
or
sort
like
of resembled it
replica-
really well.
Really?
Like, yeah.
Did they
Have you
shoot
seen-
in the one that HGTV had a show last year or 2 years ago now that they redid the Brady Bunch house. So it's very possible that they like used it.
Yeah,
Did they redo it in a modern style?
No.
Using...
They did it like as close
Oh.
as they could to the original.
I guess that's possible then. Yeah.
It was pretty cool. Like a little mid-century feel.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's a good show. I'm excited to keep watching to see.
I
what
can
happens.
tell you the trailer that came up on YouTube. I was like, I have absolutely no idea what this show is, other than
That's-
Yeah.
3
it's
episodes
about
in,
the
I still
Scarlet
feel
Witch
the same
and
way.
Vision. And
My
my big first reaction was like, wow, I knew this was coming out, but for some reason it slipped my mind that it was like the actual like they got these actors to do a
Right.
TV show for them. Like, pretty impressive.
I'll say my biggest frustration and critique is sort of along the lines of the same I have with The Mandalorian, is how short it is.
Yeah.
And The Mandalorian wasn't even this short. This is, I think sometimes this last one may have been 25 minutes.
It's
but there are
deceptive too.
5 to 7 minutes of
Yes.
credits after it.
It's crazy. It's really deceptive because the episode
it looks like you have all this on like the progress bar. It's like, oh, we still have 5 more minutes. It's like, oh no, that's just 5 minutes of credits.
and then you just sit there.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
The Mandalorian end credits.
No, yeah.
If you couldn't tell.
I've noticed the same thing, John. It's really, I actually, the first couple like scrubbed through because I was like, there must be after credits scenes, or there must be like some kind of commentary after the credits or something, which is something that I think HBO does a lot of. And so with certain shows is like after the show, they have a 5-minute sort of director's commentary about that episode, which is cool. So I was like, it must be something like that. And it's not, it's just really drawn out
Yeah.
credits, which, you know, everybody deserves their own credit, but
It's a lot of
shoot,
credit.
it's a lot. Anyway, well, I guess we could talk about design stuff.
I guess.
Oh, is it still a design podcast?
Yeah, I don't know.
Sometimes.
It could just be a Disney Plus podcast. Just transition into that.
So
apparently
anybody the one I'm really interested in is High School Musical, but you know the whole long
Yeah, which
title
one,
because
Tori?
it's the the series with the ridiculous name. Just kidding. Mostly.
Is there a new
I'm-
High School
I'm
Musical coming?
confused.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
No, there's a show on Disney Plus. It's like High School Musical, the series, something else.
The new class?
Let me see.
Now, have you watched it? And do you like it?
Oh no,
You know he has.
it's
Because if you like that and you didn't like The Mandalorian,
Let me just say,
there's an issue here.
it is one that I started the first episode and then was like, nah. Mm-mm. The reason why I did it though is because it was right when I got Disney Plus at first, and there wasn't really very much on there, and it was like, okay, I watched The Mandalorian. I feel like I should get some usage out of this, and then it was like, I don't see anything else on here.
Yeah, if you're not, unless you're
High
watching
School
all of the
musical,
old.
The musical, the series, is the name of the title.
Oh, so it's a funny title.
Yes.
So
Well,
That's
it's
kinda
debatably, debatably funny.
So you mentioning the very beginning of Disney Plus actually reminds me of something I know John Eckert and I talked about as far as UX related. Is at the very beginning, they had all these movies that looked like you could watch
Oh
them.
yeah.
So you click on it, and it would say, "Sorry, this is unavailable until 2020." So this was back in 2019. So it was like, "This will be available December 2020." You're like, then why are you even listing it?
Yeah.
And,
It's an
and
ad.
so there's, well, basically, but you could watch it on like Netflix or something.
Oh.
So it was just they didn't have the rights yet. Whatever rights or deal they had with different companies, just they didn't have the rights to them, I guess, to show them on their streaming
That's
service.
so weird.
But they wouldn't mark them on
Yeah.
their listing. So Colleen and I, my wife, we would specifically one night we were like looking for a movie, and there were at least 5 different movies that we clicked on, and we're like, okay, well, we can't watch that either. It was just very frustrating experience as far as they should have had some type of indication that this wasn't on there yet.
It should be like coming soon or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, like a tag.
Yeah, anything like a tag or an icon on
Yeah.
the
Literally
artwork just to
anything.
tell
Well,
you.
while we're
Yeah.
on the like UI of that, like, I mean, some of the stuff is fine. Like, I actually like a couple of the things that Disney Plus does from a interface perspective, but there's a couple like small things that bother me, like how long the thumbnails take to load when you first hit the page. I don't know if you've noticed that, but it's like,
yeah.
normally you're just like, okay, it takes a sec and whatever, but it's like long enough that I'm like, why is this taking so long? And
Is this on the web or on
both? I've seen it in both. Like when I loaded it up on the Apple TV or whatever once.
I've
I
noticed
see
the
it.
Same thing.
It's,
Yeah, it's
like,
like
a
everything's
good.
blank.
It's a good like second and a half. It
Oh,
feels like.
I'm going on like 10 seconds right now.
Oh really?
It's like slowly. Wow. That
It's-
was a solid 10 seconds.
It's
It's
very
shooting
weird to me because like
Sure, I'm on the same thing right now. It still hasn't loaded for me.
I
There we go.
and it's one of those like small gripes, but I think it really calls out like it makes me like want to just kind of like close the tab. And so, and I have before because I was like going to see what was on. I was like, this is taking too long. Like it's actually load times are very important. Like visual load times are very important for things. And
yeah, it's true.
it's not like I'm going to bounce off that site just because of that, but it's like one of those like, all right, fix that kind of thing. Like at least make
Yeah.
it be like a pop-in instead of a wait.
I need to record this or something.
I did
'cause
notice that just now when I did it, all of them came up at the same time.
Yeah, and they load
rather
all
than
at the
slowly
same
loading
time.
in.
So whatever they're
So
doing
maybe
on the
that's-
JavaScript is like they're loading the DOM and then they're trying to hit their CDN for the images or something. I haven't looked into it like in the console, but that's my guess. And it's weird.
Mine didn't come up simultaneously. I mean, they all came in within seconds of each other, but they came in little by little.
Well, and there's also no loading state for it either, so it's just the blue background of the page that comes through, and it feels weird because if they were like loading tiles, I think I would be like, oh, okay, but there's no loading state; they're just empty. So anyway, that gripe.
I do
Also,
think-
we lost your audio, Pope. Sorry.
I had muted myself because I coughed,
Ah.
so I forgot to unmute. I was going to say there is sort of a animation cycle that sort of happens when you first load, when they're not actually there. But it, to me, I can't tell if it's on purpose or not. One nice thing I like about some of their listings is I noticed the other day, maybe it was under Marvel, they had a section that was listed at the Marvel Cinematic Universe in timeline order, which they didn't have a few weeks ago.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's neat that they've sort of started labeling and categorizing.
I did find
that
stuff
group.
kind of hard to find at first because they didn't really have enough to have the extra categorizations. Yeah, what was the other one? I also find it funny, like when you come into this, it always loads season 1, even if you're on season 2. Like even when I wasn't done with season 2, it would never it always starts at the beginning of season 1. I'm like, surely that's something that you could fix. Like it's just these little detail things. Like overall, I like some of the other stuff they're doing. I think the overall user experience is pretty nice. Other than I think finding stuff is sometimes hard too. But those are my small.
Yeah.
Finding stuff is hard in any streaming service, I think, and I agree. I would say that, in my opinion, they have one of the best user interfaces.
Yes.
Now I think
Feels
there are
clean.
UX issues that could be cleaned up, but those are less problematic. And I also think, like, as they mature, we'll see more of the things that, like John mentioned, where they are intelligently calling things out or categorizing or grouping things temporarily as a way to, show you content that maybe you hadn't seen in the past. But overall, I've always thought it was cool. I love these little brand things at the top when you hover over each one. That's a really neat little touch. But I don't know how well it'll show. Okay, there.
Oh
That's
yeah,
good. But
no,
I love that.
Those little details, the visual details, I think are some of my favorite of. Like even just the subtle animation, like on the web, it's funny because like you don't tend to do a ton of this kind of stuff for enterprise interfaces, but I've been trying to find ways like how can you bring that in, because this really helps you feel engaged in an interface. So
It
how
feels
can
good.
you
It's
not
delightful.
overdo it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this isn't overdoing it because this is a streaming service. But how can you also not overdo it when you don't want to distract or whatever?
Yeah.
And I think from a timing standpoint, this isn't stuff that takes a lot of extra time to implement. It's really just a matter of a little bit of additional, code and design thought, and you can have a nice subtle interaction that really does significantly improve the experience, even if it's subconscious in many cases.
And I like how large they are, and you instantly know where to go because those are most likely the main categories that people are going to be looking under. So for me personally, I like that I instantly hit that. I don't have to go scroll all the way down through this long page of thumbnails. I could, if I want to see a Star Wars movie or show, I just click Star Wars, and most likely all that content's under there.
Yeah, I do think
They
their
had-
landing is pretty good. For what they're doing right now. It'll be interesting to see as they keep, like, all of these streaming services that you now have to pay for that have smaller content libraries comparatively. Like, it will be interesting to see how they all handle that content curation when their content library is, like, pretty limited compared to what Netflix, Amazon Prime, and, like, when you have everything, all of the licenses. So
Yeah. Now, I do have another question that's none of this is related to what we were going to talk about today, but
This is like the accidentally.
Yeah,
don't you aren't
interesting.
supposed to say
Plus
that out
podcast.
loud. No one
Oh,
would know.
well,
They'd be
you
like,
just,
"Oh,
you just cut that out.
Disney
Tori. You can
Plus.
just cut that out. But what would y'all say is your least favorite streaming service in terms of user experience?
Amazon Prime.
Yes, same here.
Well, I should say they have some decent, like, they do some decent things from an experience standpoint. I think the UI is by far the worst, and it's like it feels like a chore to use that app.
Go
Go ahead, Tori.
no, you can go."
Go ahead,
go.
Tori. Oh, okay, I'll go if I.
Well,
I was just gonna say
sounded like
I
you
was
had something
thinking
to
that
say.
immediately because I've had so many times when I'll click on a listing, say it's a TV show, thinking it's just going to bring me to a home for that TV show. So like one page for that TV show, much like most streaming services do. But it happened just the other night. We clicked on something and start watching in it. And we're like, this can't be the first season or first episode because we are totally lost. And we had seen this show before, so we knew it wasn't, but it's been years and years. And so I look and like, sure enough, I clicked on season 2 as in like the scroll thumbnail thing.
Right.
So instead, that's just another thing that has happened before to me, and it's just always kind of bugged me. Why not just take you to the page that for the whole show, not just the season 1, season 2, or you get to a show like Alias or something that has 8 or 9 or however many seasons.
Yeah.
It's a pain.
Now
Yeah,
that I
feel like
said
it
that
would
though,
make it easier for them.
So I don't
really
do-
quick. Let me just say this really quick. Sorry, because I want to amend my my comment. I do think Amazon Prime is one of the worst, but I also want to put HBO Max up there with the worst. I don't know. It's not as HBO Max is not as cluttered as Amazon, but it's almost worse in trying to find things to watch. And HBO's web streaming has always been, before even it was Max, has always been pretty bad. But anyway, sorry, I just wanted to sort of put that up there as a tie with Amazon Prime.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, my 2 big issues with Amazon Prime are getting to this page is a pain. Like,
Yes.
Yep.
sometimes
bookmark it,
it'll-
but I
yeah,
agree.
sure, it can get bookmarked.
Because
it can
you
you
have
can
to.
press PRI but like because it's not like primevideo.amazon.com or
Right.
something, it's actually like it's kind of hard to discover. And also, if you're not searching directly in Prime Video, like if I want to find The Office or something, and I search on Amazon for that, it doesn't pull up what I like. It doesn't even, like, sometimes it's there, but it's hard to tell. Like, no, I just want to watch that, like. And then once you get here, like, the thing that you said was interesting. I think, like, this page doesn't bother me, has never bothered me too much, but I have used Prime Video like almost exclusively because it came with Prime. So like for me, yes, I don't like it that much, and I think the other streaming services have better UX. It's the one that I've always pretty much had the whole time. I've never not had it. And so like it's the one that I've used most of the time. So once I get into it, it's like, it's fine. It works. And then you start to learn the things that are a little bit weird about it.
I also dislike that it has the pay for content sort of mixed in there.
Yeah.
Because
Totally agree.
it's really hard to find, like, okay, I mean, you can find it. It's possible they have it in there, but it's unclear. Like, okay, what is Amazon? What can I buy on Amazon, which is all mixed in here, and what is free with Prime? Now, I do think they, like, unlike Disney Plus when they first started, they do have a little tag on them on the thumbnails, as you can see, but it's not super clear, and especially when you're searching, it's even less clear. Like, okay, is this result that I found something I have to pay for, or is it something that comes with Prime Video? It's just not clear.
So what's on the agenda today?
Well, this is a little late, but we didn't get to talk about it in our past episode. But did you guys see the new GM logo they rebranded? Oh, I guess you did, since you had this pre-pulled up. It's almost like we planned these shows out. It's amazing.
I did see it. I'll hold my comment for now.
Curious what y'all think. Oh, well, John's holding his comment. I guess that's Tori.
I mean, I could go if you're.
There's
Tori,
even music with it. Which,
I mean, John, you're like the expert on branding, so I definitely want to hear what you think. But
let me just say real quick.
Our thoughts first.
The old GM logo, I think rebranding some of the most iconic brands is always going to be controversial, because like part of the reason why the GM brand is what it is because people know it. And so what's their reasoning behind rebranding at this point? Like, I'm assuming it's because they feel like they want to change how they're seen with people, because people don't think of GM fondly. They might think of some of their sub-brands fondly, like people really love some of the sub-brands of GM, whether it's Chevy or who knows what else, because I don't keep track of American cars very well. But people really like them, but that's what my guess. I mean, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Like,
all right, I'll be quick, and then I'll let you, John, kind of cap it off as our resident director of art. I don't like it. I think so. The old one is, classic, I guess, but it's
stodgy,
old. Yeah, I think you're right, and I think that can be applied to almost any rebrand. Is that you rebrand when you want to shift what people think about you as a brand. I definitely think this shifts the feeling you get when you look at it. I don't think it fits well with the brand and company as I know it. I strongly dislike the color with the gradient. Like those two colors in that gradient aren't good in my opinion. I don't mind the lowercase. I don't mind the square. I think they could have modernized the old logo to look much better without going where they went. It just, I'm not a huge fan of it. I think this tweet at the bottom of the screen that we're looking at, assuming everyone can see it, is perfectly sums up my feelings about it, because it's very much what I think when I see it, or like, the new page on Dribbble. It just feels like the kind of thing that you'd see there. I don't want to be mean, but that's just what I think when I see it. I'm not saying I could do any better. I'm just saying that's what comes to mind when I see it. I do like this animation. I will give them that. That's kind of a cool transformation. Yeah.
It's a nice animation, but it's...
Yeah. That's anyway, that's my...
Yeah.
That's my thought.
It's a little confusing, and I'm sure they paid millions of dollars for this or something. Like... on overhauling everything and doing the research. And
how many people on Fiverr is that? Yeah, it's a lot of people.
I think I'm confused because they have this brand that's been a brand for like a century. Like, I mean, it's a very old company, and if I'm not mistaken, most of their previous logos, if they've changed them a lot, have just a G and an M, which this does too, but I think they're trying too hard. Like they're trying way too hard to feel new and hip.
Pull up that "How do you do, fellow kids?"
Like why do lowercase G and M? That I don't like. Why? It doesn't make sense to me. Other than they're trying to be like Adobe or some like tech company that's hip, or Tesla. It's just odd. It's really odd to me. I did read one article, and I highlighted a part in it. They say, okay, where was it? Well, it's like your granddad in a Supreme shirt. It's just unnecessary. I thought that was a great quote, and it sums up most of this. Is there's a lot of ways they could have done this. They could have changed the font. They could have, adjusted. They could have still used maybe this outline of the box in their logo, but I don't think they needed to go lowercase and have only one underline and drop the G. I don't know. It's just
also come
really
on,
like
social media team. Like, you couldn't have given a little bit more white space around the logo for your Twitter avatar.
Yeah.
Like, you really had to make it so the square touches the edges of the circle.
Well,
like, I get it. You're trying to fit a square inside of a circle, but come on.
Or
like,
just
you
have the
could've done
GM
better.
without the square.
Yeah,
that's not part of the
Because
brand, John.
Yeah, that breaks the
but
guidelines.
you could do
John.
that,
Come
and
on.
it would be acceptable.
Yeah.
No,
agree.
John, this is their logo mark. This is how the logo mark has to be. And then there's all these things where they show, don't stretch it, don't skew it,
Don't make it hot pink and
That's
hot
why
green.
you make
Hot pink
logo
it.
alternates. You
don't
can
put
make
it on a
logo
shirt for your
alternates.
granddad that says Supreme underneath it. So this one is kind of cool. I don't really feel like we need to talk about it too much, but we've been seeing a lot of trend in everywhere for dark mode, but this is specifically called high contrast, which I think is cool because that's more specifically on the accessibility side of things, which for the government space is very important.
So curious, did this update with the transition, like with
I think there was
coming in?
it was a whole new website, I believe, and with it came things like this. Yeah,
And that's not super uncommon from what I recall.
Yeah,
Also,
I don't.
Large
remember.
font size is just the mobile site, by the way.
yeah, I noticed that.
But that's what happens in Chrome when you resize your font anyway. So all they're doing is resizing the font.
Yeah, well, I put this in the notes because I wanted to continue to point out to all my coworkers and friends who have been dark mode disbelievers for so many years that dark mode is taking over the world, and I told you so many years ago. So
Hey, whenever I see my wife using Instagram or something, and it's not dark mode, because on my phone everything is dark mode. I have like the iOS and everything is dark. And I'm like, I'm like blinded by your screen. It's so bright.
I have
How do you even
mine
look at that?
following the day-night cycle.
oh no, you do not.
Yeah, it's so good. 'Cause
That's
then
better.
get
I guess
to
that's
see
better.
Both I like
That's
seeing
true.
both versions of the app because I actually like light mode in a lot of cases. I also like dark mode. So
Yeah.
I do think light mode is good. Like, I don't hate light mode. I sometimes it feels nice and refreshing after being in dark mode a lot. But yeah, I don't do that.
I mean, it
One
makes
thing I was
the
gonna
site
say is-
more readable. Like I
Yeah.
can read it better in dark mode.
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah. I once stole my wife's phone and turned it to dark mode, but it didn't last very long.
That's really funny.
I
I've never
tried at
seen.
least.
I'll have to see what Brit does. I've never noticed for her. So I have a little. Since we're gonna do like a shorter design review today, but I had something that came up when I was working on something, and this is from a like freelance tracking site. You'll probably be able to tell just by the colors, but that's not super important here. But this is like the weekly summary that they send you, and this isn't just something that's buried in the app. They like send you this as an email to like say, come click on this. And I clicked on it and I was like, I have no sense of the hierarchy of this page.
I'm struggling to chunk the data, and I think I just figured it out. Where I think tell me if I'm wrong, but the dates with the gray background is like the top of each chunk of
Yes.
data, right?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a day.
Yeah, I was totally off on that too.
That's a day.
It's- why
The
is-
green link is the job. So if you have multiple jobs, you'll see different ones.
Huh.
And then there's a total. So I get why, but especially when you're only billing for one job, it's just very hard. And I wanted to see from you, like, for one, what would you do to fix this? But then maybe just some more general conversation about tables, because I've seen stuff like this fairly often where like
Some simple
hard to
like
read.
typographic adjustments would do a whole lot
Yeah.
here, even without, like, if you needed it to be a table for some reason, maybe for extensibility, so it can just be as long as it needs to be. Like maybe that's why it's a table. That's fine. But you could do a lot to
Yeah.
help just by changing some colors or some type
Font
styles. Like,
size and
like
boldness and. Sorry. I didn't mean
and
to
what's with
interrupt,
all the
but-
black boxes on the table? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's also a little weird. I just don't want to give away my hourly rate, you know.
Yeah, even like the headline or like where it says contract or hours, it's the exact same size as Monday and
Yeah.
the same size as total and Tuesday.
just all caps, which is hard to
But the
And that
bottom
distinguish.
total is slightly bigger. The very
Is it
bottom.
though?
The
Oh, I
very
see
bottom.
it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the line, that little line going across, dividing the job and the total for Monday, that threw me off because it looks like that from that line up to the line above it should be a section. Because, at least on my screen, that light shaded
It's the darker.
box isn't like it hardly even shows. So to me, I'm combining just visually right away. I'm combining those sections between the thin lines.
That's yeah. And that now that you say that, you articulated why I was so confused in the beginning, because my brain wanted those to be the sections, and it didn't make any sense. So
Yep.
now, yeah, that's exactly why I had so much trouble.
Well, the least emphasized thing on the page is the header rows
Yeah.
because they're darker. So the darker, there's less contrast with the Monday, January 18th. They're darker, so that means they feel like they're pushing back into the page because that's what darker does a lot of times. And then they're not bigger than the total, so I don't read them as a header row at all. I read them as zebra stripes, if anything. Like, it almost just feels like it's weird zebra striping at first until you, like,
Yeah.
sit down and, like, read it. And
I mean, they
even then,
could-
it's not that helpful. Like, this is not a very helpful way of presenting this kind of information unless maybe you have, like, 10 jobs that you work every day on your contracts, which I guess maybe then it would make more sense.
It does seem like this layout is designed for like the larger use case for people who do have many jobs, and it just seems like that's why this was chosen. Like you wouldn't even need to make those dates text bigger. They could even be smaller, like metadata style or something.
Because
It's
is
just
that
some
really
kind of
what-
differentiation.
And do you really need to see total for Monday, January?
Yeah, exactly.
2? Like, why can't it be a group that says, here's Monday, here's your job, here's the total,
Yeah.
and then go?
Yeah.
Like, you don't need, it's just extra.
Did we talk about the chart last time? I don't know.
I think we mentioned it, but we
Sure.
didn't actually.
Yeah. So just a little bit of history. If you have followed along in the show, you've heard maybe tidbits of this, but Tori's a Figma user through his company. I am a new Figma user. I think we all have been familiar in some form or another with, I think John is probably most familiar with Adobe XD. We're all familiar with Sketch and InVision in some form from the past. And so this report from this past year is showing some interesting data. How many people were surveyed? I think it said, but I can't remember. It was a pretty decent size. Maybe it didn't say.
I'm sure
Anyway.
it says somewhere.
Yeah.
4,000 designers. I just saw it at the top. I think I saw that. 4,000 designers.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So out of 4,000 designers, which is a decent sample, this chart shows those tools. I'm waiting for the chart to show up. It's not showing up.
This chart?
There it is. Yes. Those tools over the last few years and sort of the trajectory that specifically Figma has taken upward while the others have slowly and in some cases more drastically declined. And this article is sort of focused on what happened. InVision used to be the big guns in the space. Got a lot of funding, have crazy marketing going on, lots of really cool people that work there. So what happened? Like they were it for a while there. and the article sort of digs into that. But I don't know if you guys have any thoughts that you would like to add or things you want to point out. I know that from my experience, I sort of saw it coming based on some big changes that happened a few years ago, particularly with their like pricing model, and sort of how certain things were rolled out with some of their new versions of InVision. But I am genuinely shocked at how quickly Figma has sort of risen to the top, and the others have sort of collectively fallen, except Adobe. Adobe has a slight and steady climb, and I've heard a lot of people that do like it. I think they just were late to the game, and so they're just playing catch up.
My guess is that looking at this, like with Adobe, I could see Adobe continuing that sort of line only because so many companies buy the whole suite of Creative Cloud.
They've already got
and
it.
So why not just use it? And in general, I love Adobe products. I am in no means a power user of Adobe XD. But everything I've seen when I go to their conferences and stuff, and when I have used it, has been good. So I could see that just kind of like continuing. It'll be interesting to see what some of these other companies do as they compete with each other and which ones go up and down as the time goes on.
Yeah. I mean, there's a number of things. The article, I mean, if you haven't read about some of those articles, feel free. They're pretty interesting. If you're on the audio, the chart that we're looking at basically just shows that it used to be InVision had 60% of the prototyping market, and now they're down to about 20%. And they're now equal with both Sketch and XD as far as that survey goes. And now Figma is up to almost 60% this year.
Like skyrocketed up.
Yeah, and I think that's partially attributable to the fact that InVision basically tanked themselves because they started trying to charge enterprise level prices for a product that isn't enterprise. Like they tried to, because of the way they got invested in, they had to make that money, but they didn't have the product to back it up. Whereas Figma has kind of gone the other direction. They're starting to creep into enterprise level pricing with their like $45 a month plan. But even that's like pretty cheap for a lot of enterprise products. Like even per user. But this year, because of the pandemic and everybody being remote, all of a sudden the actual like the ease of use of just not having to manage files, and if I happen to be in the file at the same time as someone else, who cares? Like I feel like that was also contributing to this. I think the reason why Sketch has dropped too is a similar reason. They haven't delivered on the features that they said they would as fast. Whereas Figma has just kind of been like this. Like Figma hasn't added that many features either. They just happen to have a base that worked and people liked it. And they've been adding some, but I mean, they're not that much different than they were. So if they're going to have to keep that up, but they might be able to. But I could see Sketch coming back too a little bit as they build out their collaboration.
Yeah, the article made a really interesting point about how both Sketch and Figma, their prototyping tools and their dev handoff tools are based on the vector editing software. Like the kind of the core is the editing building of your interfaces, and the other things are just really add-ons to that. And those other things that are just add-ons to Sketch and Figma were InVision's core product.
Yeah.
And InVision did try to come around with other products like Studio, which it was a little bit buggy and low on features at first, but it was a pretty good product, and I think it had a lot of potential. And it was free if you paid for Figma, so it just kind of came along, but I think it just failed to get the traction for a number of reasons. But having the design tool first and then some of these other add-on types of tools like handoff and prototyping, I think is probably the right way to tackle this.
Well,
because that's the core product in this suite, I think, is the design tool itself. Everything else is just gravy.
To say, like, I don't know if Apple Watches have just gotten bigger or not, because I don't have one, but dang, it looks like
It's the new version. It's the Apple Watch 7 Max
Pro.
Plus. Pro, yeah. And it has 3 cameras on the side of it, so you can like take pictures of people.
Shoots lasers.
Yeah, it has a it projects into the air like a little holographic thing.
Yeah.
What are these recos we've got? Who's first? I'm gonna go with Pope's first because I have it.
Cool.
Did everything just disappear from the notes? Oh, they got pushed.
Sure.
No,
down.
it
I
was
see.
like they were duplicated a bunch of times, so I removed
Okay,
the
I
extra
found
headers.
them. Okay.
So this is a recommendation from me. It's a designer named Alan Peters. I followed him for years. He used to have or he still does sort of, but he would take pictures on Instagram and upload them of old vintage badges and stuff, which I always love. I used to do the same thing, going to just finding old logos and badges. But I love his design. He has just some
these.
awesome designs. I love the nice thick strokes that he always uses.
You got to stop
and-
introducing me to hat designs.
I know. I'm gonna bankrupt Eckert because I
He's
send him all
gonna
these
have
great
one
hats.
of these next time.
I know
Everybody
he will.
take
I already
note.
bought 2 hats from the last set you sent me.
Yeah.
Those
So
are so cool.
he has a great Instagram account and his shop is awesome. I think he just introduced some of these hats. So I don't remember if he redid the 47 brand for hats or if it's just like a mock-up that he did, but he made a hat for it. If you know what I'm talking about, John, right? The brand 47 that has all the hats, yeah. So he had done that rebrand for it, which again, I'm not sure if that's actual use, like an actual use logo. But I love all this stuff. He has great posters, great hats. So I just thought I'd share that with anyone that listens. Everything's very simple and minimal. It's very similar to the style that I usually do myself, and I just like everything he has on here. So yeah, so John, go buy some hats. Adding to cart.
And also buy this really nice ultra slim wireless keyboard.
I love my Keychron keyboard.
Super nice.
So
Nice.
this one is one of their newest. I don't know. I was going to say it's their newest. I don't know if it's their newest. But this was a Kickstarter that just recently finished and shipped. I've had mine for a couple of weeks. I think I showed this to you, John.
I didn't know
months ago.
You got a new one?
Yeah. So let me see.
Oh,
if I
nice.
can. So it's basically the same one as you have, John, except it's. I don't know why they don't have like side views of it. So it's like an ultra slim.
Huh.
I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
There. It doesn't have any sides to the casing, which this is
that's awesome.
strong. So I'm holding up my keyboard for anyone who's listening and not looking. I'm doing a very poor job of getting it. Okay, what Tori is showing is much better.
Yes, because
we'll have a link.
for example, mine has a border around the edge. I think that's one of the things
Yeah.
you're trying to show, and it's just thicker.
Yeah, and they have another version that you have, the aluminum one, I think, right?
Mhm.
They have a
Yeah.
plastic version that's a little thinner, but is made out of plastic. But this one, all of the keys are like inset inside of the case, whereas this one they kind of sit on top. What else is cool about this is that it is it has a hot swappable option, so
Nice.
you can actually hot swap the switches if you want. This one also had an optical switch option, which I think I got. It's pretty cool. It's super light. Keychron is great, especially if you're a Mac user, because they default with like the Mac keys and a command key and everything. They also work and come with keys for Windows as well if you want to use it for that. But
I did not know
they're
you
relatively
guys
cheap.
were keyboard nerds. I did not know that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like I don't build my own, and I definitely don't walk around calling them mechs yet. But
You'll get there.
I do like a clickety clackety keyboard. My biggest complaint.
You like the louder blues, right?
Well, I do, but I made a mistake. I don't know why I did this. I think I read some wrong information, but I think I ordered browns or something. Anyway, whatever I ordered is like mushy, and I don't like it.
Oh, browns are great. I love browns.
Yeah, I have one with browns, but I like reds better. Now that I have
Or maybe
a red one.
I don't know what I ordered, but anyway, whatever I ordered,
are so
it was
loud.
something new, and it was
Really?
and it's like, and I dislike it. My last one, my other
Blues are
Keychron is
really
blue, and I really like the blues, but this one is too mushy. I don't like it. And then the battery life on this one is nowhere near as good as the one you have, John, which is the K2, I think.
Yeah.
So I guess the slimness you pay with battery life a little bit, but overall it looks really cool. It works fine. I made the bad choice on the switches, but I can also hot swap them if I wanted to.
You could
so
buy a
that's
whole new
nice.
set.
Tori, back to your thing. Typically, reds are quieter than browns. My browns are way louder than my red
But reds are clicky, though.
switches.
Reds
I must
are
not have
pretty
gotten a
loud and
brown.
clicky.
They have a softer click though. I'm almost positive.
Charity.
I could
forget
be
which one
wrong,
I
but
got.
that's in the research I did. Typically,
Reds are faster too, right? Like they're better for.
well, blues are really
Blue-
are what a lot of writers like to use.
Blues are the loud
Because they
ones.
click clack.
Yeah,
Blues
they
are
have the
loud.
loud clack. Yeah, they have reds have a smoother, and browns are still mechanical, but they're not as loud as blues. At least that's what I've. thought I
So
remembered,
reds are
but-
the ones that don't have the click. See, I do
Yeah.
not like those as much.
I have a click on mine, but it's not the extra mechanical click as I go in.
Maybe
I have
the issue
dampeners
is,
on mine.
Maybe the issue on mine is that it's optical, because my other one isn't optical. Although on the Keychron website it says the brown optical switches are gentle. That's the sound level.
Yeah.
So that would match with what I am feeling, and to me it's squishy. They call it gentle, but I prefer like the clickier, slightly louder switch.
Yeah, they're just tactile. They are not clicky. Yeah, it's all funny, and there's so many now too. Because it used to be when maybe even like 5 years ago, unless you were like really into it, it was like you got a mechanical or you got an Apple one, or and now it's like there's so many, and there's always been that many, but they're all, until you use them, like you don't really know which ones you like, so you got to buy one of each.
Yeah. I still have two. John, you had one of these, right? You had a K2.
I have that. Yeah. I have a
Okay.
K2 with
Okay, so I have it.
aluminum as well. Yeah, and I still like it. I had another. I got one from Massdrop that Massdrop Alt. No, I forgot what it's called. Anyway,
I just
in a
have
box.
my stupid Razer keyboard because it works fine,
Yeah.
and it
I
doesn't.
just like this one because it's Mac specifically.
yeah,
That's
that's
why
what's
I
nice
bought
about it.
I don't.
And they're wireless, which I really like. That's the reason I don't use the Massdrop one that I have.
I
It's
just
just
don't
because I
like
wanted to get rid of the
having
wire.
to charge stuff.
But all
It's
I
like
do
every-
is just plug the cord in right here, and I can keep using it, and then
Yeah.
unplug it when I'm done.
Or you can just plug it overnight, like once every few
Yeah.
days or every
I
week
guess.
or whatever.
Or you can use it as a wired one.
You
like
could
you
just plug it in. Yeah.
and just keep using it. Like that's
Well,
they
that's what I do
that's
with
one of the
these.
settings on the side.
I don't
You
use
can
Bluetooth
wired
on
or
these
not.
headphones because I just use the cord, because then I
Yeah.
don't have to charge them. And also, Bluetooth has an annoying lag. Bluetooth headphones have an annoying lag for me. So
That's neat. They have that now, John.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
yeah, get a lot of cool stuff.
Like I want it, but I'm not gonna get it.
This is all.
I'm a little worried about the battery
post-show.
life.
I think this is all going post show. By the way, we can cut.
Yeah.
Cut after.
Oh, look at those ugly
Dribbble.
keys. They had to make the only. Look at those ugly keys, man. I hate that.
I've messaged them before, being like, "Could you please just make the PBT keys in the same color that I already have? Because I love this color." But they only
do it in that white.
In the white, no. But before they had them in a different gray on gray color, but it was like odd looking.
I've
really
considered getting one of the like happy hacking keyboards that you can barely see the letters on, or you can't see the letters on at all.
It looks cool. That looks cool.
Well, you can always just get new key. That's what I like too. Is you can get keycaps, and I could just find some that fit, and I could do the ones where you can't really see the letters and stuff, which is cool. But I just don't feel like. I'd rather it'd be nice to get it from the company I bought the keyboard from.
I would not buy these because of the logos and text printed all over.
That's why I like it on the black, because you can't see it as much.
Yeah.
Still.
But the logo is not pretty.
No. Look at all the fonts. Professional, classic.
What? Why are there so many? Also, what is going on there with that HHKB business? There's another one I saw that I really liked.
I mean, it goes along the lines with, I'm assuming it's an overseas brand.
Probably. Most stuff is.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be over
a lot of the logos
shopping Peter's design company.
And like accessories like this sometimes are odd.
Oh yeah, this is my only recommendation. If you like game theory at all, this is a really cool visualization of game theory using these like kind of cool but a little bit like I don't know, like XKCD. It looks a little bit like. Anyway, it just walks you. It has all these scenarios of what happens in game theory if people are choosing to cooperate, cheat, or like the various. I don't know if you guys are familiar with game theory, but anyway, it's basically like I'll cooperate if everyone cooperates, and then you see what happens to people in those situations and what's most ideal, and when it goes through that all. Anyway, I just think that the visualizations and the animations and stuff are really cool. And if you happen to be into game theory, you can go in and choose these different strategies to see what happens, like who wins in these strategies. So in this case, it's copycats and copy kittens are pretty even. But anyway, it's kind of it goes through all what these strategies mean.
What's a copy kitten?
How do you get to
Carol? What's her name's from Tiger Kings?
All you cool cats and kittens.
What's her name? Carol
Baskin.
That's right. She definitely did it.
Yep.
Cooperate.
It's neat.
If everybody just cooperated, things would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of cooperation, should we work together and come up with a title for this episode?
Hubberstate is definitely.
Hubberstate makes me laugh. Granddad in Supreme shirt is funny. Backwards elephant.
Oh yeah.
Wiener check.
I don't think we can do those.
I don't really want to do wiener check.
All right, we don't have to do.
I absolutely don't, but it's still funny.
Yeah, it is funny. No.
Funny.
I only like Hubberstate too because it's funny and it sort of goes along with the whole UX.
Well,
stuff.
I mean, wiener check is very funny because it's totally something you have to do with logos.
Yeah, it's a design tactic.
It is.
It's not being inappropriate. It's literally.
It's not. That's true. It's very true.
I mean,
that's true.
It's an attempt.
But the lastest wiener.
The last.
Oh yeah, lastest.
I kept cracking up with the lastest thing. That's why I muted myself Two, that's the other reason why I muted myself, because I was like, kept laughing. And I forgot to unmute.
I was trying to say it with a fully straight face, and I mostly.
I didn't.
I was looking at y'all, and I could see John almost laughing, which made me laugh.
I'm okay with Granddad in Supreme shirt, even though that's not original to us, I guess.
Yeah.
What about Hubber State? I think Hubber State's funny.
Hubber. I didn't hear where that came from.
John
I
said Hubber,
misspoke.
and then he's like, I mean Hover.
Hubber State. Lastest Hubber State.
Lastest I like, but I don't know. There wasn't any like
lastest
phrase
Hubber State,
around it. Yeah, but it's got to be something we said.
Oh.
That's how it's been every time.
Yeah.
Gotta
John's
keep the
very
tradition.
he doesn't like riffing on things we said. He wants to.
I
No,
don't care.
it's funny when it's something that was actually said.
It
That's
is
what I think.
Yeah, we're just not quite funny enough, So sometimes it's tough,
That's true.
That's true.
I
Well,
thought-
it doesn't have
I
to be
thought
funny in the moment.
Everything
It just
went
has to be
well
random.
today too, by the way.
Yeah.
First
Yeah, I thought it was good
yeah.
for
I
having like
the-
two topics on the.
Well, we
Yeah.
still feel like we don't really need more topics than that most of the time.
Yeah.
I agree. I think
we
like
still
going
went pretty. I
minimal
mean,
is
we're
good.
at 1 hour and 23 minutes. So
Yeah. Well, I love the way we started, and it just turned into something that was
Organically.
relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun.
Nice. Unplanned Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
so
Review
now
Streaming
for
service.
awkward outro time.
Oh.
Well, you just did it, I think.
Oh, I've got to go back to.
Oh yeah.
And
Do we just
now-
wait here till it hits the corner?
We should
Oh.
Can we just have the rest of the show be
Oh.
No.
like literally an hour of watching this?
Oh.
just add in.
Tori,
this
some people aren't watching
at the
this
very
and they're
end.
just hearing what you're doing.
We're watching a DVD video logo go around the screen, just like on The
talk
Office.
about inappropriate.
And it just bounces and bounces.
Earlier today, it almost hit the corner. It went like
Yeah.
color. It was that fast.
John was watching it for a majority of the day, so.
Wait. It
Uh,
was faster than that.
uh,
We'll get there. See, that was pretty close.
Now, does it ever actually hit the corner?
I'm sure.
So we should just leave it on the screen. Like put another 5 minutes of video on here.
I'll
let
just
people.
loop that part.
Can you put some music in here? Like
Just
just
loop
play
it.
some music in.
Just loop it and just have them. Wait, that should be the. It could be
What
the
kind
title.
of music?
It hits the corner, and then make it an animated GIF.
Can you make the graphics for this episode look
What kind
Like
of
this
music
thing?
are we doing?
something
What do you
like
mean,
from
make
the
them look like
90s?
this?
I don't know. Like follow this sort of aesthetic.
From the 90s. Oh.
Just make it feel like it works in the 90s. I don't know.
90
I don't know,
I
John.
don't know. I don't know.
So this is just going
I
to
just
be
didn't know what you meant by that.
I don't either. I was
Like
hoping
you want the
would just
DVD
fill in.
video on the screen.
No, I just want the graphic to feel like it's from the same era, I guess is what I'm saying. Like a
Are
little
DVDs
retro one.
90s things though? I don't think.
Yeah. Please don't
But
tell
it-
me.
No.
You have
I had
you
DVD.
watched
We had DVD
DVDs.
player. Yes, but
Still?
I just think of no. I was thinking of them as more like maybe end of
2000s.
90s, early 2000s.
Yeah,
but
that's
maybe
true.
I'm
It's-
wrong.
No, you might be right. Like 90s was more tapes to DVD transition. Like early
still
90s
remember.
was tapes.
The first time I ever saw DVD, it was that space movie with Tim Allen, where it's like a comedy. I don't remember the name of it.
Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy Quest. It's
I
a
don't
friend's
know.
house, and they had that on DVD, and we're like, whoa, DVD.
Can you guys hear this?
720. No, DVDs are 480.
Yeah, they're not high res.
Well, what's happening?
Can you
It's
hear?
just like the awkward ending.
This is the drawn out awkward ending. We're just
Yeah.
watching a DVD.
It's just like,
Oh,
Oh,
you can't hear
rambling.
the
It did it!
music.
It did.
Whoa! We're out.
Tori,
See
you're
ya.
muted.
Tori's
Thanks
muted.
for listening.
It did it. I think we can end now.
I'm not muted. I'm not muted. I was trying to
Um,
send you guys some 90s music and it didn't
We
work.
heard it. We heard it.
Oh, you were?
It sounded like you were holding.
But you like
it. Yeah, we heard
cheered,
it.
and then you like.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It did it.
Good job. We got what we came for. So that's
All
it.
right.
Nobody puts DVD video in the corner. Oh, it almost did it again.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, well. Till
I guess we
next
can
time.
end
So
this
what
episode.
what title are we doing here?
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. I'll choose.
It'll be a surprise.
It'll be a
Over-
surprise when I
over
choose
and
my
All the
out.
check.
listeners.
I'm
All
trying to end this thing, and you guys just don't
That's
let it
gonna
end.
just fade it out. Just do a
Bye.
slow fade. 10 minutes.
Fades.
See ya.
This is the lastest time I'm gonna talk.